Greetings folks, here we have the Mobius Maxi from Banggood. I'm a big fan of the Mobius cameras. I use them all the time for onboard recording. I used it as a hat cam for a little while as well. This is the Mobius with the C lens, this is the Mobius Mini. The Mobius Maxi can be thought of as a spec'd up Mobius Mini, I guess. The Mobius Mini can do 1080 60 frames a second. The normal Mobiuses can only do 1080-30, and it's a very nice picture. I really like the picture. The extra frame rate would be really good for onboard footage. The Mobius Maxi also can do 2.7K 30 frames a second and can produce a 4K file as well, 24 frames a second. It's not native 4K, it's an interpolated image, but it can output a 4K file. It's native 2.7K. It also has Wi-Fi built in, which works with Android phones. Doesn't work with iPhone at the moment. There's no Apple app, but hopefully there's one on the way. You can also download a configuration app that works with PC. There's not one that works with Apple at the moment, so you need to edit the text configuration text file, which is similar to what I do with the other Mobius. It gives you quite fine control over all the settings, so I really like that. So there's no Apple configuration app at the moment. Hopefully that'll be coming as well. Unlike the Mobius Mini, it has the M12 lenses, which are better quality, give better sharpness right to the edges. It has a bigger battery, which gives longer recording times, of course. Nicely packaged in this little box, and you get a little bit of a setup brochure as well. We also get a mount for a tripod. There's a little tripod up there that you can just pop in. There we go. So there's the tripod mount, which is very useful. Slots in there like that. Very securely. We also get the mini USB charging and image transfer cable, and the video and audio and power breakout cable, which lets you do FPV using the Mobius. And we get a tiny little Allen key for swapping the lens, and some Velcro as well. Using the video breakout cable, you can use the FPV on-screen display to set up the parameters as well. So we'll have a closer look at that later on. So on the top we have the power button. That's a bit confusing because you keep pushing that button to start and stop, but that's actually the power button. Shutter button there, start and stop recordings, and the mode button over on this side where you switch between two video modes, which you can set up independently in the setup menu, and photo mode as well. And this little shape around here is the heatsink, so that will sort of dissipate the heat from the internals. On the back, mini USB connection there and SD card there, and there's a little hole there that's a reset button. If the camera locks up for some reason, you can just poke a little pin in there or something and it'll reset the camera. Nice wide angle lens, and nothing on the bottom. Good looking little camera. It's pretty much exactly the same size as the original Mobius. Maybe a little longer in the lens there. And here's the FPV cable, or the TV video out cable. Is the mini USB, and we have red for power. Has to be 5 volts. You can't power it from anything else. It does have over voltage protection, but it won't work on anything but 5 volts, I believe. So yellow and black for video, white and black for audio. Push and hold the power button and you get 3 beeps, which is great. Yellow LED is video 1 mode, and if you start the recording you get a flashing red LED on the back as well as the LED flashing. You can set them up in the setup file. Stop recording, you get 1 and then 2 beeps. Change mode, you push the top right hand. Blue is video mode 2, so you can set a higher resolution, a different frame rate, whatever you want to do. Now on the original Mobius you could actually set up mode 2 to be inverted, or you could do a little bit more with the different modes. On this one you can really only choose different resolutions and different frame rates. Unfortunately, I'd really like more individual setup between the two modes, but apparently it would take a major rewrite of the firmware to incorporate that, unfortunately, so hopefully we might see that in future firmware updates anyway. The Mobius Maxi does have an inverted mode, and it has a G sensor as well, so you can have it flip the image upside down when the camera turns upside down. And continuing on, another push of the mode button, and we get into photo mode, and you can set it up as time lapse. I usually have it set up as time lapse every 3 seconds or something, so if I'm mounted this camera on board and I want to take still photos, then it'll just keep shooting every 3 seconds or so. And we're back into video 1 mode, and push and hold to turn it off. As I said before, to set it up, if you've got a PC, you can use the M Setup app, or you can do it via Wi-Fi on your Android phone using an app, or you can do it via FPV on your FPV goggles. I can do that a bit later on. Or if you want to do it by editing the setup file, so first off you need to generate the setup file so that it goes onto the SD card, and to do that, push and hold the mode button and push and hold the power button. Wait till the flashing stops, let go the mode button, let go the power button. Now we have this setup file written onto the card, and you can edit that using any text editing program. Now it looks very complicated, but it's not really. For example, if we want to change the video size, so video size 1, that's mode 1, equals 3, and if we look along here we see that 3 is full HD 60 frames a second. Now if I want to change that to say 2.730 frames a second, then I've got to change that 3 to a 1. See, that is 1 indicates which mode it is, so we would just change that 3 to a 1, save the file back onto the card, and then to rewrite it onto the camera you do the same button push again. Push the mode button, push the power button, get those flashes, release the mode, release the power, and now the camera has accepted those changes and will operate as you want it to. It's a bit fiddly, but it's not too bad when you get used to it. I have a video transmitter powered up. Here's the FPV cable, and get the video lead and plug that in. That's all good now, and I'll turn it on, and there we go, we have an image. So at the moment we're getting the on-screen display, and we're getting black bars at the top and the bottom, and it seems to be a little bit stretched out too. I wonder if we change it to 4:3, then we get the undistorted circle, so it's actually a 4:3 output, fitting the 16:9 aspect ratio in there. So pushing the mode button, we change to the 2.7K 30 frames a second. Shows the recording time on the screen there, what mode, how much battery. Very good. Next one is photo mode. That looks like it's a 16:9 output. And the next one is the playback mode. When you've got it connected up to the FPV cable, you get the extra playback mode as well. So start stop, that's recording now, giving us the recording time. Stop, that's good. Push and hold the mode button, and we get into the Wi-Fi turns on. That's very interesting. Push and hold to turn that off, I guess. There we go. Push and hold the shutter button, and we get into setup. This is what we want, and it tells you push the M button to go down, power button to go up, and the shutter button to accept. So we can go movie size, angle of view, video quality, media format, sharpness, saturation, metering, exposure. Oh, there's more stuff there. Movie voice, external microphone. I don't think there is a provision for external microphone. You can turn the stabiliser on and off. Apparently the stabiliser doesn't work all that well, so it's not recommended to use it, but I should try that out. Loop recording if you want to. Choose the recording LEDs, which ones you want on, both on that is, clip length, motion detection sensitivity and motion detection timeout, invert mode, auto flip. It's a better way to set it up, isn't it? G sensor off or on. TV full screen. Let's turn to full screen on. See what happens there. And we're back to movie size. And then we can go into the general setup. I'll just flip through them, date stamp, light frequency and that sort of stuff, format the card. Alright, so that's probably going to be the best way to change settings in the field using your FPV goggles. That's good to know. Alright, turn it off. And it says goodbye, and very good. Alright, so now it's time to go and gather some footage and check out the quality and see whether it's going to be useful as an onboard camera the way the original Mobius is. I will enjoy the 60 frames a second, I think. It gives smoother fast motion. So I'm on 1080-60 and I'm just testing out how it's going to work as a vlogging camera. Walking and talking. The audio is pretty good with these Mobius cameras, so hopefully not getting too much wind noise. There's not a lot of wind here. Should be good. Just going for a walk in the park. Go cross country here a bit. Hope there's no snakes. Lovely spot this. I haven't got image stabilisation turned on at the moment. It does work reasonably well, I think, but crops down the image a bit and you lose a bit of sharpness as well, so I tend not to have image stabilisation on. This is 2.7K mode, 30 frames a second. From what I've seen so far, it does seem to be a little bit more grainy, a little bit more sort of video noise, I guess. But it's nice big resolution. It is a native 2.7 30 frames a second sensor, I think, so the still images are 2.7Ks. But I do like the 60 frames a second at 1080. Now, my final thoughts on the Mobius Maxi. It's an interesting camera. It has some very good points and some not so good points. 1080p 60 frames a second is excellent. I like that. The availability of 2.7K 30 frames a second, although the 2.7K is kind of grainy and has digital artifacts as well. And the availability of a 4K file if you want it. They're all good. Audio is very good. As with all these Mobius cameras, the on-screen display set up via FPV or Android app or PC setup program, they're all excellent. And they're not so good. The image quality isn't quite as good as the original Mobius for my uses. I think the original Mobius has sort of smoother and nicer colours and looks a bit sharper as well. But of course it is limited to 1080 30 frames a second. It is a little bit buggy. The firmware is a bit buggy, I find. I've had to reset it by pushing the reset button a couple of times. It just sort of freezes up in the field, which is annoying. Needs to be addressed. But it's a very good start, and if you don't already have a Mobius, then you might consider buying the Mobius Maxi. There you go, the Mobius Maxi from Banggood. Thanks for watching.